So recently, I made this video, and today I'm going to show you how you can make this electricity fire edit inside Adobe After Effects.
Alright guys, the first thing we're going to do as usual is get our base footage. So I usually like using Pexels, and I found this video here that I think will work pretty well. Not too much camera movement, clear shots of the wheels, headlights, logo. So we're going to go right over here and hit free download. Now we just have to decide where we want to download it. I'm going to download it in this folder, call it base footage. Hit save, and now the one other thing we're going to need is this plugin called Saber. Saber plugin, After Effects. Go to Video Copilot right here, scroll down, hit download for Windows, and that will prompt to download. I already have it, so go ahead, download it, install it, and once you finish doing that, open up After Effects.
One eternity later.
After about 5 billion hours, After Effects should have opened. Come up here to New Project, and let's drag in our footage. So base footage, drag that in there, and bring this down into the timeline, as we will be creating a new composition. Come over here to the resolution, make sure that is on full. Come over to the effects and presets. If you don't see this, come up to Window and hit Effects and Presets. Come over here, and we're going to just type in Mocha. We're going to use Mocha AE. This is a tracking plugin, so it will track the movements of the camera, and that is exactly what we want. Okay, so once you've opened up Mocha, this is exactly what you should see. If you don't, come up here to Workspace and hit Classic. Then it will look just like mine. To zoom in, hold down Z and use the left click on the mouse to zoom in. Use the middle mouse button to just move around. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we need to make sure that our playhead is at the beginning of the timeline. Zoom in a little bit, and we're going to come up here to the spline layer, and where you want to create an elliptical spline. So click on that and just create a circle roughly the size of the wheel. So you're going to drag it over just like that, and you can adjust each point individually so that it matches up with your car. So I think that looks pretty good. Now we're going to come down here to minimum percentage pixels used, double click on that, and we're going to enter 90, hit enter, and click on the perspective. This way it will track the perspective and the movement. So once you've done that, you're going to come over here to the track forwards button, and we're going to start tracking. As you track, you can hit the pause button and adjust each point individually as you go so that it still matches up with the wheel. Alright guys, it just finished tracking. It took an excruciatingly long time to track, but I think it did a really good job. It followed the wheel very nicely. It almost crashed like 5 times, but look at that, it's a good track. Alright, so once you finish tracking, come up here, double click, and you're going to just type in back tire. Hit enter, come up here to the save button, click on that, and go on file and exit. Once you're back in After Effects, you're going to hit Control S to save, or you can come up here to File. Under File, hit Save. Find where you want to save it and name it. Once you've finished saving your project, come down here, right click, and select New, New Solid, and we will call this Back Tire Saber. Make sure the color is set to white. Hit OK. OK. That was close. After Effects almost crashed. But okay, you'll have this. You should see it. It should take up the entire screen, and all you're going to do is come over here to the effects and presets, type in Saber. That's the plugin that we downloaded before. Bring it over, drag it, and drop it over the back tire Saber. Let it load. Go into here, render settings. Under render settings, we will select transparent underneath composite settings. And we can close that back up, then come down to customize core. And next you're going to choose layer masks. Now you won't see anything yet, so come back down to your base footage. Under the Mocha tab, you see the matte tab. Click on that, hit create AE mask. Now, while you're over the base footage, press M on the keyboard to open up the masks. Over the back tire, hit Ctrl X to cut. And over the back tire Saber solid, hit Ctrl V to paste. Hit M to open up the mask. If you see that it is not lined up, you can come over here and drag this to the beginning so that the keyframes match up with the beginning of the video. So just like that. Now, when I drag the cursor along the video, it should match up. Just lengthen that so it's for the entire video. And it's looking pretty good. Now what we can do is play around with the presets. So back under the back tire Saber layer, come up here to the Saber effects, and under preset we can select what we want. So we just have to go through these and see what we like. So I think this velocity preset looks pretty good, and we can change the color to what we like. Maybe use the dropper, see what color the car is, or you can just do your own custom color. Maybe something more blue. I think that looks pretty good, so I'm going to press OK. And I think that looks pretty good. So we have our back tire. If we just scrub through the playlist, we can see that it matches up. We can go through some other settings as well through Saber. Maybe we'll check on the intensity. Yeah, it's way too much. Let's try maybe 50. I think 50 looks pretty good. You can look at the glow spread. And if you don't like it and you want it to go back to before, just right click on one of those parameters and press reset. And look at glow bias. That looks pretty good. Core size, maybe increase that a little bit. A little bit much, maybe let's try 2. And I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, so now what you're going to do is save your project by pressing Ctrl S or using the file option. We're going to come back to the base footage now, hit Mocha, let it start up. Once you're back in Mocha, make sure your playhead is at the beginning of the video. And now all we're going to do is make a mask for the front tire. So come up here, circle spline tool, just make your mask that resembles the tire. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. As with before, come down here to percentage of pixels used and hit 90, enter, come down, click on perspective, and now we're going to let it track again. Okay, it finally finished tracking. It took an eternity again, but it looks really good. As you scrub through it, you can see that it tracked really well. Now all we need to do is let it load, then come up here, double click. We're going to call this front tire. Hit enter, come up here, save our work, hit Control Q to exit, and now we're back in Adobe After Effects. So we're going to press Control S to save, and now we're going to come on base footage, and first thing we're going to do actually is go to New Solid. We will call this Front Tire Saber. Hit Enter. It'll bring up this white solid, and we're going to now go over base footage. Under matte, we'll click on this visible layers, let it load, and we're going to unclick the little eye icon on the back tire, so that way it will only do the front tire. Now we'll press OK and come down to create AE masks and click on it. So created a mask. We're going to press Control X to cut, and on front tire saber we're going to press Control V to paste. There we have it. Go over it, press M, bring this over so that the keyframes match your video. You can zoom it if you have to. Okay, that looks better. Drag this so that it's for the whole of your video. And we're going to come into back tire saber. Click on the saber effect, press Control C to copy, come over to the front tire saber, press Control V to paste. Let it load, and there we have it. It's looking pretty good. So far we can bring this down to maybe a third resolution scaling. Press play to preview it maybe. This is not in real time, it's buffering, so it has to render each frame individually first. So that looks pretty good already. So now what we can do is maybe put glow on top of the logo here. So close these, go into base footage, make the resolution scaling full again, hit on Mocha, and let's go track the logo. Once you're in Mocha for the third time, put the playhead at the beginning as usual, zoom in, and what I think we'll do first is bring the playhead to somewhere around here. Once you've done that, zoom in further, click on the circular spline tool, just make a mask that's roughly the shape of the logo. Once you've finished making your mask, we're going to come down here and enter 90, enter, and perspective. Now we're going to track forwards. Okay, we finished tracking, but that was the easy part. Now go back to where you started tracking initially. Now we're going to track backwards. So hit the backwards button with the little T in it and start tracking. So it was a very tedious process, but I finally finished tracking the logo. So here we see it, it's being tracked. Even if it's a little bit off, it's so small that with the glow you shouldn't notice it much. So that looks pretty good. We're going to come up here and rename this logo. Not LOFO, logo. Okay, we're going to save that and Control Q to exit. Now we're going to press Control S to save. New solid. We're going to call this Logo Saber. Hit OK. Come down to base footage. Under Matte, Visible Layers, click on that. We're going to unclick the eye icon for front tire so that only the logo has the icon. Hit OK and press Create AE Mask. Gonna press on the mask, press Ctrl X to cut it, and go over the logo Saber layer, press Ctrl V to paste it. Now press M on your keyboard and bring this over to the start so that your keyframes match up properly, just as we did with the other layers. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Extend this so it covers the whole video. Now we're going to go over here to Effects and Presets. We still have Saber open. If we don't, just go over here, type in Saber, drag that over on top of the logo Saber, drop it there, go into Render Settings. Under Composite Settings, press Transparent, go to Customize Core. We're going to make this a layer mask. There we have it. We can unclick, we can click just away so we get rid of that. Zoom in, that looks pretty good as it is. But we can play around with the settings so that we get the look that we're going for. So under here we can select preset. Just find one that you like. I'm liking this Energize. I think it looks pretty cool. So click on the dropper under glow color and just try to match it with the rest of the car. So I think that looks pretty good. Come over here, make it a little more blue. And so that looks pretty good. We can scroll through it and see what it looks like. Again, this is not rendering in real time. It will look much better once you've fully rendered the video out. So that should be good enough. Go back to the beginning, play it, you can see what it looks like in real time. So that looks pretty cool. But what we can do is make it look a little bit more realistic. So we can do this by adding a glow. See, we can't see it really reflected on the ground much, and we can change that. So go on base footage, and once again, we are opening up everybody's favorite plugin, Mocha. If you see this warning, press cancel, go down here to the resolution scaling and press on full, then try hitting Mocha again. Once you have that, we're going to come up here to the spline tool. This one is just the pen tool. And what we're going to do is just mask out where we want the glow to be. Zoom in, and just where we think that there might be a reflection from the light. So I think that looks about right. Now what we can go do is track backward or track forwards. We can do that first. And actually first go to minimum percentage of pixels used, make that 90, turn on perspective, and now we can track. Okay, I finally finished tracking both forwards and backwards. This was easily the longest one that I did so far. So we're gonna go up here and rename this glow. Hit enter, save this, and exit. Once we're back in After Effects, again, press Ctrl S to save. And now it is saved. Alright, the first thing we're going to do now is go under Mocha, Matte, Visible Layers. Going to make sure that only glow is selected with the icon, press OK, create AE mask. Once that mask is created, we're going to go into New, Solid. We're going to call this glow. Come under here. Try to roughly select color that you're going for. Probably not going to be exact, but just that's okay. Press OK. Now you're going to press Ctrl X on the mask from the base footage. Cut. Ctrl V over the glow layer. There we have it. Now you're probably thinking that doesn't look like a glow at all. That's okay. first thing we need to do is go press M on the keyboard. Make sure that the keyframes are matched up correctly. And now what we're going to do is we're going to press on T on the keyboard, bring up opacity, bring that down, something like that. We're going to press F now for the feather. Just going to turn that up. Make it look something like that. Looks a little bit too blue, I think. Let's go back to T opacity. Just bring that down a little bit. And there we have it. I think that looks pretty good. Can maybe bring it up just a little bit. Let's try 15. 20 maybe. You don't want to overdo it, but you want it to be realistic. And there you have it. You finished making your electricity fire effect on the wheels and logo. We put in the glow to make it look realistic. All we have to do is render this out. So to do that, we're going to come up here to composition, go to add to render queue, click that. Under best settings, just hit OK. Under output module, here you can press OK. Output to, this is where it's going to render the video to, so where you want to save the video. I'm going to just save it in the folder that I saved everything else in. So right here, press save. And now all you have to do is hit render.
And congratulations, you made it to the end of the video and made this awesome effect. If this video helped you, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content just like this, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.